Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and happy Ramadan. I bid to Madam Sanidah Hanani. And today in this video, me and my team are going to present to you on our assignment on the topic of career choices of estate management student. So without wasting any time, I call our first presenter to present on this topic. So
my name is Ahmad, Zakhir, Zailan. So now I'm going to explain to you about the sampling frame, sampling technique, and why I chose this sampling technique. Okay, the first one is sampling frame. Sampling frame means a list of all the items in the population. It is the total complete list for everyone to find the sample study. Difference between population and sampling frame is where the population is general information, while the sampling frame is specific information. Population represent people in the area. Sampling frame represent the names or group in people in the area. Sampling frame list of everything for determining the data in with different sampling technique. This picture shows an illustration on what I have explained about the sampling frame before. Sampling technique is the scientific method of selecting representative sample from the population. It is important to identify the accuracy of the data research due to an uncountable number of population. Sampling technique divided into two, which is probability sampling technique and non-probability sampling technique. Probability technique is determine the population by randomization. The element of the population get an equal chance of the selected sample. Non-probability sampling technique is better in getting the selected sample because it depends on the research ability to provide data. In our research, we choose a snowball technique, and why snowball technique is chosen. Okay, first one is quite easy and affordable, where the population is completely unknown and rare in the wide area targeted. It starts with the first respondent, which represent for the group of people in the area. Just need proper planning to identify the potential respondent to spread our research to others and more. There are several advantages of the snowball technique that could be the reason why this method is chosen. Okay, the first one is quicker to get the sample useful data due to low energy use without involve more planning to meet which is of respondent. The researchers just make online survey form and spread to the first respondent to deliver of the research to their group. Secondly, is able to identify the information of secretary group of people. This technique can identify the information which could be the secretary group for a certain group of people, because the first respondent who has familiar and friendly with the secret group has the chance to know with detail the information given to identify either is important or not. Secretary group will reject from participating in research due to afraid about their information with some people they conduct to give on this research. Thirdly, the cost use is very effectively used because the referral can be obtained from the primary data source. It is very easy and not expensive to have the questionnaire for the research compared to other methods of non-probability sampling technique. That's all from me. Thank you.
Binti B.Amra. I'm from AP1154G. Today I will present about the data presentation. Okay, the data presentation is titled The Career Choice of Estate Management Student. First, the pie chart shows that the influences on education of career choice. The family get the high result. So, from this data presentation, we had list about 7 choice on the influences on education making. They are family from reading material, career advisor, friend from the course taken on discussion, and from the lecturer. From the data analysis, we found out that the most influential the effect they chose is the family. Second, the pie chart shows that the career preference of our estate management student had property manager get the high result. Okay, from this data presentation, we managed to find out that the most preferred career choose for estate management student is the career of estate agent, which 58 people choose this career from total 96 respondents. The largest section for the creation of the chart, while there are 5 careers that are least preferred by the estate management student. The data presentation is from the column the reason from the chosen career for estate management student. Okay. This is data for the reason on choosing career for estate management student. For this data, we had list about 5 main reasons for the choosing career, such as flexible work time, good wage, interesting career, stable salary, and the last one is the own ambition for the student themselves. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Puteri Amirah, Atiqah binti Shahlan. So now I'm going to briefly explain about the data analysis and data presentation of the section in this study, which is how the respondent rate their skills. So yeah, let's begin. The reason we include this section in the study is for the respondent themselves to rate the skill and then relate how much they are with the career preferred. As you can see, we use cluster bar chart for this section. In this section, we use Likert scale, which involve 4 levels from poor to excellent. Okay, as you can see, we have total up the respondents' answer for this section. In order to statistically analyze this section, we use method of assume the Likert scale, which it will become like this. Okay, next we count the boundary. Okay, by use the assumed scale, we subtract them and then divide by 2, and we get the boundary is 0.05. The data we have analyzed is R, mean, median, and mode. These are the formula. Okay, so the first thing we do is for teamwork is we tabulate the data of frequency and class interval and then transfer into the bar chart. After that, we create the new data which involve midpoint, FX, and cumulative frequency. How we found midpoint is we sum up the upper and lower bound for each classes and then divided by 2. For FX, we multiply the midpoint with the frequency, while for cumulative frequency, we just use it based on what we learned in the class. Okay, based on this data, we analyze the mean, median, and mode, which the mean for teamwork is 3.77, the median for teamwork is 3.37, and the mode for teamwork is 3.69. For your information, these steps are used for all skills in this section. Okay, so the next is communication. The step is similar. So we found out that the mean is set as 3.26. The median is set as 3.32, and the mode is set as 3.38. For organizing and planning, this step is similar. And then we found out that the mean is 3.38, the median is 3.42, and the mode is 3.45. And for listening, okay, this one is quite special. Why? Because all mean and median turns out that it's same. Why? Because this data point mostly of the respondent choose average, which is the class of 3.124. So that's it from me. Thank you.
So, as you can see here on the topic of creativity skill, the data presentation on how respondents rate their own creativity skill, we can see here the frequent answer for this creativity skill is on the 3.1 until 4.0. So we can see here the median, the frequency is 54 of respondent tick in this column, and the cumulative frequency is about 89. And we can see for the mean, by using all the formula given, we get the total mean is 3.2201, and the median, while using all the formula, result in 3.202907, and the mode is using the given formula is 3.3688. Alright, that's for the creativity skill. So we go on for our next skill, that is the leadership skill. So in this data presentation on how respondents rate their leadership skill, same like the creativity skill, the respondent almost about 57 of total of 96 respondents choose to pick 3.1 until 4.0 on the leadership skill, on the rate of their leadership skill. And by using, and we can get the mean by using the formula is 3.39375. The median is 3.43597, and the mode is 3.47857. So and our last for the critical thinking skill. So same like our before skill, same like the other skill, is still many of the respondents had choose to pick 3.1 until 4.0 class. About 55 respondents from 96 total respondents choose to pick this class. So same, we using the mean, the formula of the mean, we can get 3.3104, and for the median we get 3.3409, and for the mode we get 3.3833. So that's all from me.
For the development of the questionnaire, we had determined the topic that we want to do a research, and then we start to searching the information regarding to our topic, which is the career that estate management student prefer to be. So our targeted respondent is the estate management student in UiTM Seri Iskandar Perak, and then we use Google Form as our method to distribute the questionnaire to the respondent. For the content of the questionnaire, we had read several articles regarding to our research to identify the content of the questionnaire, and then after that we start to develop the questionnaire. After ensure the question is easy to understanding by the respondent, we had pre-test the questionnaire, and then we start to develop the survey form, and then we distributed it to our respondent to collect the information data for our research. The information that we decided to put into the questionnaire are, the first one is gender. It is required as to identify the gender of the respondent. The second one is age. It is helped to determine if the data is valid or not, as our targeted respondent is the student of diploma and degree, which is the age shall within 19 to 25. The third one is current education pursued. This information is to determine the current education of the respondent, either in diploma or in degree. Other than diploma and degree shall be excluded from our respondent. The fourth is part. It is to determine the respondent in what part. The fifth is student ID. This is most important information of the respondent, as it is representing the respondent itself. So, if there is any same ID, it shall consider as one respondent. The sixth one is occupation. This information is to determine either the student is working or not. The seventh one is career preference. This question is to determine the result of our research. This is the information that we required for our research. We had given several careers that related to estate management course and had allowed the respondent to choose only 2 careers, which most career that they interested to be. The 8th is what or who influenced the respondent decision. This question is to determine the influence of the career chosen by the respondent.
9. The main reason for the chosen career. This session is for the respondent to state the main reason he chose the career. And the last question is how much the respondent rate themselves on certain skill. For this section, the respondent is required to rate themselves as they know better about themselves rather than other people. For the data collection method, our group had decided to use web-based questionnaire, which is by using Google Form, and then share the link to the WhatsApp group. This method is convenient for our respondent as most of them has Google and WhatsApp. And then, this method also required less time and less high-speed internet. The main factor that we use to use web-based questionnaire is because the pandemic COVID-19, which is limit us to do another method to distribute the
Making our best effort in doing the survey of our case study, we were unable to use our best methods for every part of our survey due to the recent global pandemic of COVID-19. So actually, improvements can be made into our survey in order for us to get a more precise and elaborate data. So we have to dive in and review back 3 parts of the survey, which is the sampling technique, the data collection method, and the data presentation, and show you that which are the best method and the improvements can be done to our survey. The sampling technique. Initially, we implemented the snowball sampling technique due to our inability to perform physical interactions with the public due to the COVID-19. So, the best way to utilize this technique is by using the online medium, WhatsApp Messenger as suitable option. This the reason why it is called as snowball, or we use the snowball sampling technique, is because we have to rely on the initial respondents, which is our contacts, to distribute the questionnaire. Next, the best method for our sampling sampling technique for our survey is actually stratified sampling technique. This is, even though it requires for us to obtain the official number of students of the course at the faculty office, we actually can establish equivalent probability of sampling for each semester. So, due to the first statement, we cannot utilize this method. Next is the data collection method. Initially, we use Google Form to collect our data, but it is restricting for us to get the certainty of appropriate sample size because we don't know who would take the questionnaire and how many of them. So we have concluded that the best way to do the data collection is by doing direct or physical questionnaire. The benefit of this method is we can ensure to get the correct sample size for the study based on initial questioning, such as their semester or either they are in diploma or degree. Lastly, the third part of improving the survey is the data presentation. Well, actually, our group have consulted our lecturer to determine the best method before we conduct our study, so there is no need for a recommendation in this part. In the end, we have chosen to use pie chart as the result of our case study is considered as categorical data. Pie chart would be the best way to explain and elaborate the data. Besides that, a bar chart or bar charts also has been optimized to review the result of the Likert scale used in the questionnaire of the Google form.
As a conclusion, by doing this research on the career choices of estate management student, we already know that the most preferred career choices for estate management student in this UiTM campus Sri Iskandar is to becoming an estate agent. This career was followed by becoming a property valuer and to becoming a property manager. Also, other than that, we know by doing this research, we already know about the function and the specialty of each of the sampling technique. So that's all from us. Thank you.